everybody. Welcome to I'll Hang Up and Listen. Game number 80 edition. 2 more games left in the campaign. As always, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you need a beer, get to Fatty Beer. Let them know we sent you from 2 goalies, 1 mic. As always, Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York, located at 5087 Broadway, Suite 100 in Depew. 5-star facility, 5-star staff over at Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York. If you have a slip and fall, work-related injury on the field, on the ice, you want to get back on the field, want to get back to work, you're dealing with some type of injury, they will get you back on track at Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York. They do offer a $77 assessment when you do mention 2 goalies, 1 mic. And of course, extreme discount mattress with Western New York's finest selection of mattresses and adjustable beds, featuring the cool gel memory foam, 2-sided mattresses, cellulose latex, organic mattress, Chatham & Wells, and of course, Scott Living, all for 1/3 to half the supposed sale price anywhere. So stop any of their 7 locations across Western New York, or check out their website, extrememattress.com. That is extreme with an X. If you're looking for more savings, check out their new website, the new closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga, with up to 80% off the already low prices. Save a fortune on one-of-a-kinds, closeouts, and floor samples. Get a quality mattress for literally pennies on the dollar. Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. And don't forget to mention that you are a fan of 2 goalies, 1 mic, and you get yourself a free mattress protector with any purchase of a mattress from Extreme Discount Mattress. Hurls, I'm like running on almost no sleep here, homie. We got after it in Manhattan last night. Woke up pretty early, got on the road, came back home, and I'm running on fumes, but there's no way we're missing the Sabres. Absolutely beat the brakes off the Blue Jackets, 5-0. Colton Ellis Island stole the show tonight for his first career shutout. Jack Quinn with 20 goals on the season, which honestly a month ago didn't seem even feasible. Sabres, Josh Stone had an incredible performance. Dahlin, 1 goal away from 20. If you can get one here in the next 2, a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot to digest, a lot to peel back. Your initial thoughts?
Chaotic Colton Ellis Island. What a story. What an unbelievable story this kid is. At multiple points this season, obviously tonight being the biggest, he was unbelievable tonight. And the way that we would expect him to be, in the way that he has gotten the moniker Chaotic Colton Ellis, He really just moves around his net in any single way possible to make a save. I said it earlier that it reminds me of a young Dominik Hasek a little bit. I think that's crazy to say in Buffalo Sabres lore, but the way that he battles in net kind of is reminiscent of Dominik Hasek's style of goaltending, where he will do absolutely anything to make a save. And that's what he did tonight, along with really being in position in certain situations. He was finding the puck through screens. There was one play where he was looking over to his right and then got back to his left and snagged it with his glove in the 3rd period, which I thought was really impressive, especially for a young goalie. It wasn't just him being chaotic. Obviously, everyone will look back to that one sequence in the 2nd period where they had on the broadcast, they had a stickless counter where he didn't have his stick for upwards of 15 seconds. And if someone can find me the clip, I was going to go back and rewind on ESPN Plus to try to find it. At the end of it, I think he takes off his mask because his hair got into his face. In the middle of the play, he was maskless, puts his mask back on, and then makes another save. The guy
find that. Maybe somebody in the chat can find it for us.
I can't rewind on ESPN anymore. I'm going to try to do it a little bit later. But they showed it in the 3rd period as a replay. The guy is unbelievable. He clearly just does not care, and he's going to do whatever he possibly can. But it's just a generational performance from him.
Oh, dude. And a lot. And again, there's that's saying a lot, like the comparison to Hasek. But, like, there were times, man, where I watched him tonight, and I'm like, dude, like, I think he's hurt. Like, the way he just bent his body like that, like, he ain't supposed to be able to do that. Goalies aren't supposed to do that nowadays. Like, you're supposed to be more controlled, but he found a way whether it was out of desperation or just pure willpower to make the save. And he was unbelievable tonight.
So good. In his first start since February 3rd, he got it in
Even
the
more
game
impressive.
got in the game the other night against the Capitals in a tough spot. I thought he did pretty well, but it clearly wasn't the Sabres' night on Saturday, and I can't imagine how tough that is. He's obviously gotten a lot of practice time. He's mostly been sharing the net in practice, but it really speaks to his off-the-ice work, what he's done to both physically and mentally get himself in game shape and be ready whenever his number was called. And that was tonight. He probably didn't know that he was starting tonight, maybe until yesterday when Alex Lyon got hurt.
Yeah, the news broke about Alex.
Exactly. So for him to get in that mindset, to go up against a desperate team that was 2 points out of a playoff spot in the Blue Jackets, and they put 37 shots on that. It's not like this was a defensive masterclass performance.
Yeah, no.
The Blue Jackets absolutely outchanced the Sabres and had the majority of the high danger chances as well, especially in the first period, the numbers that they were saying in the intermission report. And I would say largely throughout the game as well. Obviously, the third period was really good for the Sabres, and they created some great opportunities, Josh Doan specifically. But yeah, I would say the Blue Jackets largely had the better chances, and he shut the door every single time. What an unbelievable performance.
And to your point, like I said earlier, like, I mean, yeah, he has played twice. He has got in-game action for spot fills. But the fact that this is your first start since February 3rd makes this impressive. Would I see, I know you call them chaotic, but I'd like to see some more control in this game. Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't think you're going to be able to, play like that every single time. You played a very, and here's the thing, you played a very desperate. Were they mathematically eliminated with this loss tonight?
No, they still, I think, have a chance, but
yeah, they needed this win though. They needed this.
Yeah.
And I kind of hated that. I mean, I love playing spoiler, but I mean, I hate that it was Columbus, but like whatever. But like, given what that franchise has been through the past couple of years, but yeah, that's very desperate hockey team. And they had to find a way to open it up there a little bit in the third period, given that they were down. And up until that, would you agree that, like, I don't know, like, it was a very tight game? Like, yeah, like Colton Ellis made a lot of saves, but like, Columbus really wasn't making many mistakes defensively. Like, they were playing sound. They were getting pucks to the net. I thought for the most part, I mean, yes, Colton Ellis played fantastic, but defensively, I thought that we took away a lot of shot lanes. I think there was a lot of good stick work, especially down low. And Logan Stanley might have had his best game as a Sabre.
Yeah, the assist to Jack Quinn was an incredible look. It was an absolute dime from especially a 6'7" defensive perspective. I was just looking for the block shots. 20 block shots for the Sabres tonight. They were selling out even in the third period, up 5-0 to secure the shutout for Colton Ellis. I think they did play pretty sound defensively. There were a couple lapses, especially in front of the net, but I think they sold out just like Colton Ellis did and got down when they needed to and cleared the puck and cleared the front of the net when was necessary. I think that there weren't too many odd man rushes from what I remember. There weren't any breakaways, which has happened a good amount this season. And I thought they did pretty good on the penalty kill as well. So all in all, I think it was a total incomplete performance from the team. When they had Dave Anderchuk on the broadcast, I was going to
bring that up too.
Yeah, he was supposed to leave a little bit sooner, but he wasn't able to because the clock ticked down. I think it was in the second period, so much so that he was unable to get out at a TV timeout. And I think that kind of speaks to the way that the Sabres were playing this game. Once they got that first goal from Peyton Krebs, they were able to kind of play in a little bit of a trap, keep the puck on the outside and prevent the super high danger chances, especially in the second period. So that was really good, and I think it was a great strategy.
Mm-hmm. Comment here. Thanks again for the super chat here, Jeff from Jeff Gibson. A couple clicks for you. What has gotten into Jack Quinn playing with a lot of confidence? Went from trade bait to hustle stud. Listen, we talked about him last night. I brought it up on the streets of Manhattan that, this is a guy that we need to get going. And you could tell that right from the jump, he was probably going to have a good game. I noticed off their first power play attempt. He got the puck in the high slot, like off the left circle, and there was zero hesitation. He walked it across to the middle and went right in and took the shot. Like zero hesitation. That showed a lot of confidence to me. So I'm like, okay, Jack Quinn's here to play. I think he's going to have a good game. And yeah, he had a fantastic game.
20 goals for Jack Quinn. I don't think
Congrats to
anyone,
him.
especially early in this season, would have thought that Jack Quinn would have reached the 20 goal mark for the first time in his career this season. But it really shows his commitment to different parts of his game. I think nobody has ever doubted his talent. Nobody has ever doubted his shot or his skill with the puck and how good his hands are. We've seen it time and time again in the shootout. The dude is absolutely nasty, and he operates at a different level from a skill perspective in terms of his hands and both his shot. But I think his skating and his physicality obviously lacks sometimes. I think he's made up for it. I think he's shown that he can be a two-way player. He's obviously not super great defensively still. It's not his calling card, but he's made the most of his opportunities, including tonight. Even the path from Logan Stanley was incredible, but the finish was next level, world class from Jack Quinn, right under the bar, back bar, out of the net. I think Jack Greaves reacted in a way like, what are you going to do there? Obviously, that wasn't on him, and I think it was just an unbelievable play. But yeah, Jack Quinn has really stepped his game up, and he has provided that secondary scoring that, but prior to this season and prior to this run since early December, that we have lamented for so long with this team, that beyond Tage Thompson, beyond Alex Tuck, beyond Rasmus Dahlin, who was going to produce for this team. And this season, we've gotten it in Jack Quinn, Josh Doan, Josh Norris as of late, and then also Ryan McLeod and Jason Zucker this season. There's been a large influx of secondary scoring, which is absolutely massive for this group.
100%. A nice comment here from Mike. The major improvements from Quinn and Samuelson have made a huge difference. I think that's like, I mean, I think we already knew that, like, how important, Samuelson has been since the start of the season. But I mean, Quinn kind of turned it around, especially I think both me and you would have agreed probably back in November, December that, like, he might have been the because again, with the way you would see Austin playing, Rosine at the time, the way he was playing, the way Hellenius came up for, the few games he played, I think he had 3 goals on like 4 games. You would say, like, oh man, it's like Jack Quinn might be the odd man, the guy on the outside looking in, especially come the trade deadline when they have to make hard decisions about about this roster and how they're going to improve. And he has really, really turned it around. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, I mean, 4 goals in his last 10 games, 3 goals in his last 6. Since the Olympic break specifically, I think he has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 of his 20 goals have come since the Olympic break, which is less than half of the season, and I'd say less than half of the games played. So he's really upped his game here specifically in the past month and a half.
From CH Go Bills. Imagine a shutout NHL game and being so humble in the post interview, just talking about his teammates. What a classy kid on top of being an absolute weapon. Couldn't agree with you more. We did have a quick question here to one I wanted to bring up. Let me see here. I believe. Hey, Duane, do you think the Sabres are going to stick with the Mets' Stanley pairing for the playoffs? It didn't look bad. I will say they did not look bad tonight against, again, a very desperate Columbus team.
Yeah, I think we talked about it last night, given how often they've played with each other in these past few weeks and the results that we've seen. I think the left-right versatility that we've talked about, which is important for these guys, especially on the third pairing. And what we saw from Logan Stanley tonight, there was one giveaway in the first period I saw some people getting upset about, but he also had a couple opportunities. He had a really good shot on net, probably his best chance at a goal since he's been in a Sabres uniform, partially why he was such an attractive trade piece from the Winnipeg Jets, because he had 12 goals this season with the Jets leading into the trade deadline, which is the highest shooting percentage of his career. And of course, that has decreased with less playing time on the Sabres. But I think he's been all right. And I think everybody knows for the most part what we're getting in Zach Metsa. He's super responsible defensively, makes sound passes in his zone, is able to get the puck out in high leverage situations. And I think the combination of those two at this exact moment, I would say, is the favorite to be the third pairing for the playoffs.
Yeah. Another super chat here from Are You Kidding Me Right Now? Again, thank you so much for the contribution, and a couple clicks for you. Marty was stammering post game trying to explain Ellis. Kid is unhinged in the best way. He can really rise to the occasion. What a game. Extreme. Yeah. To your point, I think we're all in agreement, man. That guy, it's almost like he tries to play stand up sometimes. And that's how he gets himself into those situations where he's just like kind of falling over like this, like trying to make, sprawl out to make a desperation save. Like, I don't know, Craig Anderson kind of used to play that way too. I know he was so late in his career, and that was a guy who, kind of like Ryan Miller back in the day, like, not Ryan, I'm sorry, like, Craig Anderson was kind of like the last of a dying breed of a stand-up hybrid type of goalie. And sometimes I feel like Colton Ellis might be the same.
Yeah, for sure. I think that with him, he even said it in that post-game interview, and shout out to the person that talked about it. He was extremely humble, talking about guys selling out, especially in the last 5 minutes when it was up 5-0 to obviously get him the shutout. But he plays in a way where, I mean, he mentioned it in that same interview, he just battles. He does whatever he possibly can to make a save. And I think we both know as goalies sometimes that's over the grand scheme of any single game script, you need to play a different way, and the ability to adapt your game to different situations, specifically in front of your net when you aren't able to cover the puck calmly, you just got to get in front of it, be big, and let the puck hit you. And I think that he does a really, really good job of it. Obviously, he's had some struggles at points this year, and there's a reason that I think he was a second-round pick, if I'm not mistaken, that he wasn't able to break into the NHL up until this point. Obviously, a pretty high prospect from a goalie perspective. And as a 25-year-old, of course, there's a different timeline for every goalie. But I think adding that little bit of control to his game, adding that little bit of poise, which we saw in spades tonight, in addition to all of the chaos, I think is eventually going to get him to a point where he's going to be a quality NHL goaltender for a long time. He clearly has the talent, clearly has the mindset. And for him to come in a spot start like this after being in a 3-goalie rotation the entire season, getting picked up off waivers, is really remarkable. This is a really cool story, and it's something I think we'll all remember for a really long time. In the midst of all the other great moments this season, I would put this in the top 5. I really would.
Yeah. Another good comment here from Ryan Sanders. The division is officially ours to lose now. Let's go get that banner, then the cup, also Ellis legacy game. I don't care. I know people are like out not for banners, like for weird stuff. Like, but dude, I'll hang a banner for winning the division for the first time in like for however many years. Absolutely, hang the banner. I don't give a shit. Let's 100%.
Go. And it would
hang
be the first, and
it
would be the first Atlantic Division banner. I think that would be pretty cool. People have made the joke about Sabres banners over the year. Why not hang something that's actually an accomplishment, right? Like, we want to remember this season somehow. Hopefully it ultimately ends in the banner we all want, right? But
yep.
I think that this group has revived the love of the game for some of the casual fans of hockey, some of the casual fans of the Sabres in the area. And they need to be remembered by something. And if that is an Atlantic Division banner, I think there are division banners in the rafters at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, from back.
Yeah, Northeast Division, like back when it was like the Campbell Conference,
think
like that.
If they end up winning the division, I think there's a 100% chance they hang that banner, and I think that's really cool. They've earned it.
I agree. And for a franchise, I know some people might call it embarrassing and stuff like that. Like you said, there's the Twitter page, Sabres banners, and they hang a banner for every like mediocre accomplishment over the course of the drought. But like, if there ever was a year to hang a banner for a team that has felt so special, like this is it. I'm sorry. Even if they get out, even if they don't win the conference, like win the division, maybe you get bounced in the first round, whatever, who cares? Like, what an accomplishment from this team, considering what we were considered to be back in October and November, being a laughing stock, and to come back the way this team has to win the division, potentially win the division. I'm not going to say, but I like to put a stamp on it, but we've been saying it for a while since the first Tampa Bay win, that this team has legitimately pretty much kind of been at the driver's seat and got to control their own destiny. Just have to take care of it. And they've done that against teams in their division. And that is the biggest thing, Hurls.
Yeah. So much adversity. I think we said it before the season that basically everything had to go right for this team to even get to the point where we projected them to be in the mid to high 90s in terms of point total. Clearly, everything has gone way beyond that for a variety of reasons that we all know. But we've got to think like they're doing it largely without someone who we thought would be a major contributor on this team in Yuri Kulik. I think his loss,
keep forgetting about him, you know?
his loss has been somewhat gone by the wayside just because of all of the good feeling and everything surrounding this team at the moment. But can you imagine him on this roster with his talent and his 100-foot game? People talk about how Jack Quinn is one-dimensional and he scored 20 goals this year. Imagine Yuri Kulik with this group and how much depth and versatility that would have given the forward lineup. And hopefully he's getting to the point where he's healthy and in some miraculous type Willis Reed type comeback, maybe he'll be back for the playoffs. Who knows? I think it's a long shot, but I'm daring to dream at this point about any single possibility with these Buffalo Sabres. Everything had to break right, and it's done more than that since December 9th, to the point where I almost think like a 30 for 30 should be made about this team.
Yeah.
Like, especially
honestly, you're not wrong.
If they reach the heights that I think a lot of people, we're biased, of course, but even around the league, I've had people talk to me out here that are huge fans of the game, that are just casually fans of the NHL. They really believe this team is special, and they think that this team can win the Stanley Cup. It's definitely not out of the question being second place in the Eastern Conference, and the Eastern Conference being largely so much better than the Western Conference, obviously aside from the top of the Western Conference, which is very good. Either way, they are absolutely contenders. This is not outlandish for anybody to dream big, and I think everybody can just live in the moment at this current moment, knowing that 106 points, the possibility for 110 points in the division title is just absolutely absurd.
Yep, and another new member of the show, Russ Russell, love the name. Yarmo needs a sign talk and give him Kempe money. They are very close in stats, same age, same draft class, and like me and Greg Day, when we were driving back from the game in New York City, and I think we've talked about it so many times. Like, honestly, man, like, how can you not bring him back at this point? Like, I think you just have to. I think if you're Yarmo, like, I think you'd lose your respect a little bit as a GM in that locker room if you don't. He's just so important to this team.
We do need to remember that it is a business, though, right? And like, he needs to do what's best for the team.
He's a Selke candidate, though.
For sure. But like, you also need to do what's best for the team in the long run, too.
How is that not best?
No, I do
believe
not
what's best for the team, though.
I do believe it is
signing Alex Tuch what's best for the team.
At his age, and that
he's 30, dude. Look at Sidney Crosby and how well he's playing. I know it's two apples to oranges when you're coming to the playoffs.
He's not Sidney Crosby.
I understand that, but you're acting like his body has been deteriorating. He hasn't.
I just know what I'm saying. Healthy. What I'm saying, I think specifically to what you said, like, I don't think it would be embarrassing if it doesn't happen. I think it would be.
I think I'm gonna say, man. I think for this team, and would you agree that culture in that room is very integral to the success of this team?
For sure. But like, Alex Tuch, based upon this run and how he's performed, can probably
he's 31 goals.
I know, but he can probably max out on the open market. Are the Sabres capable of paying him $11.5-12 million a season? Probably not.
I mean, I don't think he's going to demand that kind of money from
Buffalo.
He might take 10. And from the last time we heard, they haven't touched that number.
Of course, but like, the cap is going up, right? And given the two-way player that he is, clearly he's a very, very good hockey player. What I'm saying is that as an unrestricted free agent, I think he will have the possibility of getting 7 years times 11, maybe even a little bit more, from a team that has the money, that's looking to shell out that type of money to that type of player. I just don't know if the Sabres at this current point in their franchise have the ability to do that in an intelligent way. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna. I mean, you really have to take into consideration, on the depth chart of who you have to sign, importance. And I think Alex Tuch just has to be at the top of that list. Benson is probably getting a bridge deal. You know what I mean? I think the next guy up for a long-term deal is, probably Byram, because you just kind of signed him to a bridge deal. So you have to make that decision. Whoever you do have Mirka coming up, unless you use him for a trade piece like you tried to do in the Parayko situation. They did just loan him to Rochester after another incredible season in junior. another right-handed shot defenseman. Kessling, bridge deal if you decide to keep him around. So, like, in my opinion, you look up and down this roster and who takes priority of signing long-term deals. Alex Tuch, and that's it. Alex Tuch, unless you're trying to sign Benson, try and get it done early on a long-term deal in hopes that you can get him at a better price in the way that has been done in the past with other players. I just kind of like with Josh Stone just now. Like that contract is going to look beautiful in a couple of years. Maybe you do the same with Benson. But for long-term deals, who deserves a long-term deal, who should be getting a long-term deal, who else besides Tuch?
Yeah, no, I mean,
he's everybody else done. You got everybody else done.
Definitely top of the list, but I just think that it is going to be a tough bit of business, and I don't necessarily think it's a slam dunk, personally.
And so, Andrew Wilbeck, so they still got to sign Benson this offseason as well as Krebs, Kessling. Krebs, Kessling, Malenstein. I mean, total, cap hit on an extension per year. What is that? Like $7 million, $8 million max between three players.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
As great as Krebs has been, he still only has 12 goals on the season.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I hope it happens personally, and I hope that he is able to take a little bit of a discount potentially, or even if it's even just a slight discount, if it's like potentially a tiny bit below market value or what some other team is offering that wouldn't be the same culture, that doesn't have the same history with him. I think there's a possibility, but I do believe that Jarmo understands that, and there's a reason he didn't trade him, of course, and he's an own rental at this point. So we'll see what happens, but I think we can enjoy it for right now and worry about that in the offseason.
Yeah, I agree. And we're probably getting similar. And again, thank you so much for the support in the chat, guys. I mean, I was kind of focusing on talking and going back and forth here between you, and I'd say there's like over 250 comments in the chat already. So I'm sorry if I can't keep up with it. It's just a lot. I know last night a lot of you got frustrated with us. I was doing this from in front of the bar called the Canuck, which again, Hurls, if you ever get down to New York City, great place to go pregame or postgame for a Sabres game. The Canuck. It's a great vibe. They have a wall full of hockey cards in there. It's pretty cool. Just really cool vibes and a great hockey bar in the Big Apple. I love this comment here from Quentin's. John Cooper must have been sick of silver, so he's trying out bronze too. Love it. Can you two get into an argument? All right. Next thing on the list to discuss. Dahlin, one goal away from 20. Given he was just announced as the Masterton nominee for the Sabres. He is one of the nominees for the Rick Martin Award. We talk about him so much on this podcast, but every time we do talk about him and what else he's been doing, from game to game, it just almost feels like it's so understated. You know what I mean? We don't talk about it enough. We don't pump his tires enough because he's just so good, man. And he's so important to this team. And we talked about it a couple weeks ago. I think he deserves Hart Trophy votes. He's not going to get it. He's not probably not even top 5, but I do think he gets Hart Trophy votes this season.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not first place. Cause I think, there's a variety of different candidates for the Hart Trophy in first place, but he's as important to any team as a singular player in the NHL. I think we've seen it in years past when they haven't succeeded as much, but when he's been out of the lineup, especially during that 10-game losing streak or 13-game winless streak during last season, when Dahlin's out of the lineup, this is a different team. And he does so much. He's so confident with the puck. You saw him tonight. He's so unbelievably silky moving the puck up ice. I think the power play is a different story. That's not necessarily his fault. That we can talk about it another time because I don't think we need too much negativity at the moment. But yeah. I think that he is just so integral to everything they do. He plays 25 plus minutes a night. That's only going to increase in the playoffs, and notwithstanding everything that he's went through this year personally. It's pretty amazing that he's played at this level and his game has only gotten better throughout the season. Obviously, almost a year removed from the tragedy, I think he's allowed his mind and his body to heal a little bit and get into a better possible position, but he's only improved throughout the season. And he's definitely going to get Norris votes. I think he should get Hart votes, and I think he is the runaway winner of the Masterson Trophy.
And I mean, just to make it like the whole Hart conversation is like a little bit more chaotic. For me, it's just what the guy has gone through and still played at the level. And by definition, just like the NFL MVP award, it's who's the most integral and most important player to their team. Like this team, he is the glue that keeps this team together. I know, like glue guy isn't a term that's used at most. Like glue guy is kind of used on guys like used on guys like Malenstein or Carrick or Krebs. But like, let's be real, like that's what he is. He is a glue that holds his team together. And if he wasn't here, this would not be the same hockey team. That's just how important he is. Even when we waited at the airport for the players to come back, like Dahlin slowed down to almost a stop, just kind of take it all in and look at us and wave at us and gave us a time. Like Lindy, the only other guy to do that was Lindy and Dahlin. Those are the only two. Everybody like cruised by and was like pumped. Like, Byram was hammering the horn. Sammy was pumped. Like, but they all cruised by. Those two were the only two guys that really slowed down and really kind of like take it all in. And I'm not saying that as a shot as against the other players. They were loving it, but it was also 1:00 in the morning. They just wanted to get home.
And it was raining too, right?
Yeah, it was pouring out. Yeah. and it was soaked. Got home. I was soaked. And Lindy even rolled the window down. It was like those two guys, like, almost came to a stop to really take that all in. And I truly do believe if it wasn't 1 a.m. and it wasn't pouring, they might have stopped and like kind of shot the shit with a few of us for like maybe 30 seconds. Like they might have, because they definitely could have. And I think if there's next time 1,000 fans out there, if we win a playoff round, I'll tell you right now, dude, like it's going to be a different scene out at off of Worley Road. I forget the name of the road it's on. Maybe somebody in the chat can remind me.
Cheek to Vegas.
It's in Cheek to Vegas. Yeah. I forget the name of the road though. It's right off of Worley. And I think, yeah, man, like those two guys, they almost came to a stop to really take it all in. And he is so important to this team. It cannot be understated, man.
And I think for a while, for whatever reason, maybe it's because he is kind of a soft-spoken guy. He's not necessarily super rah-rah. We've kind of gotten a little bit more of an insight into his personality this season, even with the brotherhood and drinking beers comment from a couple months ago. I think we've all kind of gathered now that he is a very funny guy. He gets along with everybody, super nice and polite, obviously. But I think when you're not so outspoken that sometimes people question your leadership for some reason. Like leadership has many different forms, and you very often can lead by example, and not even by example, lead with absolutely unfounded world-class skill, which I think he's done throughout his career, especially since being the number 1 overall pick and playing since his rookie season as an 18-year-old. He's not even 26 yet. He turns 26 on Monday. Like he is not even, some would say, in his prime, and this is what he's doing. And I think this season, without a shred of a doubt, has made the entirety of the fan base come to terms and realize that Rasmus Dahlin is not only the best and most important player on this team, but he is the best captain for this team. For him to go through what he went through personally this year and lead this team to the playoffs and be the best player and most important player on the team, along with Tage Thompson, the forward and the defense, both equally as important. I think it solidifies how unbelievably good of a captain he is for the Buffalo Sabres. And I don't think anybody disputes that at this point.
No, nobody does. Nobody does. I guess Lindy, during his postgame, and I'll bring up some postgame comments here shortly, I guess he didn't sound very enthusiastic about Sam Carrick returning in time for playoffs. Not good news.
Not great.
Because he was another glue guy, huge on faceoffs, and just, I mean, he found his scoring touch in a short time he was playing for Buffalo, and it seems like they had nicknames from him already in the room, and not a guy you want to lose. I think he's a guy kind of built to play in the playoffs, especially a first round, like how aggressive and how physical and how demanding a first round can be. Hate to lose a guy like Sam Carrick.
That's tough. That's really tough, especially the way that it happened. We don't need to beat a dead horse, but I don't think he should have been in that fight. I think
No.
that was a bad matchup for him with Anders Lee, and it's great that the guys defended each other and he's the one that stepped up, but I think it should have been Logan Stanley or anyone else, not necessarily anyone else, but there's probably a few better options, and that's really unfortunate. Hopefully that would mean that it would be just the first round, and if this team is able to get past the first round, that he would be able to be back for the second round. That would be ideal. But yeah, it's a massive loss. And I think even with Alex Lyon, we saw what Colton Ellis did tonight, but I think every single Sabres fan would feel most comfortable with a UPL and Alex Lyon tandem in the playoffs. My good friend Eric out here, he's the president of the Los Angeles Bills backers. Shout out, he listens to almost every episode. He said
Awesome.
our number one topic of conversation tonight should be if Colton Ellis is going to start a playoff game or not. And I think that is
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
probably pretty outlandish, but it's very funny to think about given all the controversy.
Well, here's the thing though, given his history, UPL, and this is not a shot against UPL, but he has been known sometimes to be streaky, like, and we know Lindy is not afraid to go to a rotation or go another goalie if he thinks it's what's best. So like if UPL shows like any type of chink in the armor in game one, I mean, I don't think he even hesitate to go to Lyon or Ellis for game two.
No, I don't. And it's just really ironic and funny given all of the controversy about the 3 goalie rotation as it lingered on into November and December. And then all of those injuries happened. All 3 goalies have gotten injured at some point this season. And then looking back on it from a 30,000-foot view, it turned out to be a really good thing. I think that is a lesson for all of us to not be so unbelievably judgmental and upset about certain things in the moment, because I think that the higher ups in this organization and around the league have a really good idea of what a roster really needs for the most part. And it turns out it was great, especially tonight, having him to come in his first start in 2 months and pitch a 37 save shutout. I still can't believe that happened.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's insanity. First start since February 3rd. And against a very, very, very desperate Columbus hockey team. I love this comment, new to the chat too, from Bradley. Dahlin has risen to what he thought he was when we drafted him. It's a beautiful thing. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and those expectations were lofty. Like, he was a generational prospect, a generational type superstar, one of the best defensemen to come out of the NHL draft in a very, very long time. And he was without a doubt, not Owen Power, because Owen Power was somewhat controversial as a number 1 pick. I think every team would have done it, but there was at least discussion about Matty Beniers as the number 1 overall pick coming out of Michigan. Rasmus Dahlin was the prize. Like, we were very fortunate to get the number 1 overall pick in the 2018 NHL draft and have the ability to draft Dahlin. And I think especially this season, and it's a great point, he has met those expectations and, in my opinion, exceeded them.
I couldn't agree with you more. And the Owen Power conversation, like, I mean, yeah, you talk about Matty Beniers, but I think if every single team in the league, maybe somebody would have traded out of the first pick, which almost never happens in the NHL. But I think for the most part, I think every team in the NHL takes Owen Power in that situation. But again, to your point, and in agreement, he wasn't a generational talent the way Dahlin was.
No. I mean, if people remember, and do yourself a favor, if you haven't done it yet, it's one of my favorite videos amongst Sabres lore. Look up Rasmus Dahlin's NHL draft mixtape. Some of his highlights from Sweden as he was coming into the league and why he became this almost mythical type prospect. Some of the moves and some of the dangles that he had along the blue line.
Oh, insanity.
As a prospect getting drafted into the NHL, which he has replicated in the NHL. People have put the side-by-side angles and highlights alongside each other. It is just absurd. It is almost like an and one mixtape of moves that he pulled out of his back pocket as a 16, 17-year-old playing against men in the Swedish Hockey League. He is an unbelievable talent, and it really is crazy that he's not even 26 yet. He's not even in the second half of his 20s yet. He's been the captain for 2+ seasons, and he's one of the top 3 defensemen in the NHL.
Yeah. Remember the season started, Dahlin was being ripped by fans of opposing teams for being a deep minus player. He was like -10 early in the year. I'm not sure what his number is. Maybe somebody could look that up, his plus minus, but it certainly isn't -10 anymore.
No, it is. I can tell you right now, as I'm looking it up, I think we can all remember that plus minus is a misleading stat. And if fans are of opposing teams, especially Lightning and Canadiens fans, as we've come
Tampa
to
lost
learn,
today in regulation too. So again, Sabres control their own destiny.
Yeah, it's massive. As we've come to learn, they're 2 extremely toxic fan bases. If they're using plus minus against you, just tell them just right off the bat, you don't know puck, because that is one stat that everybody unanimously around the league that covers analytics, that covers even simple stats, can tell you that is a very misleading stat. And if you're using that to represent a player, you don't understand the sport. Rasmus Dahlin is plus 14 this year. So use that for your argument. I don't care. Alex Tuck is plus 23, plus 22. McLeod's plus 23. Samuelson's plus 37. We'll use it in favor of us if we need to, but generally it is a misleading stat because Tage Thompson's -9 this year. And Josh Stone is -10. And Josh Stone is one of the best analytical darlings on the Sabres this season. So that tells you all you need to know.
Hey, speaking of which, if you're looking to win a Josh Stone jersey, check out my pinned tweet on Twitter. Make sure you're following us. For all of you in the chat who have Instagram, who aren't following Two Goalies on Mike, make sure you go follow Two Goalies on Mike. We are like 200 followers away from giving away a Sabres jersey and getting closer to giving away a Josh Stone jersey. So make sure you check it out. Go give us a follow on Instagram so we can get closer. I want to give away this jersey finally. Josh Stone has just, again, dude, you see him shot out of a cannon there right near the end of the third period, trying to split those 2 defenders to go for the hat trick. Like, dude, that guy, like, he found another gear, and I thought for real that he was going to pull that off. Kind of like, remember that Malenstein goal from earlier in the season where he just like fought his way through 2 defensemen and scored that goal? I thought for sure Josh Stone was going to get the hattie there.
He almost did. It's crazy to say vintage Josh Stone at this point because we haven't seen him produce at the clip that he was in the middle of the season. But in the past couple games, especially with those 2 assists yesterday, I think it was 2 assists yesterday, definitely the 1 assist to Zach Benson at the end of the game, he, I think, has rounded back into form a little bit. He is that hound on the back check. He is stripping guys just like he did on his first goal tonight. He is doing whatever he possibly can to make an impact in all areas of the ice. And yeah, super thankful that he was the main part of that JJ Peterka trade. Of course, he was the main piece that everyone was initially excited about, just like we all expected. And yeah, I think he's a playoff type hockey player. I really do. I think he's going to thrive in a playoff atmosphere, just as it was tonight. This was a playoff game. It was for the Sabres for the division, and it was for the Blue Jackets to make the postseason. And the Sabres were not necessarily the better team, but they capitalized in the biggest moments.
We got a question here from you. It's been a while since Mauricio's asked you something like this. Hurls, if Sabres win the division, are you organizing a pool party? Lots of sand, surf, and sun. I'll bring the harem.
What's harem? Is that weed?
No. Women.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Old school way for saying a woman.
Yeah, especially in Buffalo. I looked up the forecast last night, actually, and for next weekend, it looks like it'll be high 60s, low 50s, potentially a chance of rain on Sunday, which is looking like that might be the first Sabres home game. But if you're up for it, I'm good for a polar plunge. I'm good for a party on ice. That's actually where I thrive. I have a men's league game tonight starting at 10:45 p.m. West Coast time. So I am good in any situation. I'm not necessarily the best swimmer or surfer, so whatever perception you have of me of living in California. But we can have a pool party in Buffalo. We can do whatever we want because I think the vibes are going to be absolutely immaculate leading into that first home playoff game, which I'm super excited I'm going to be there for.
From Buffalo Buckeye, could be a collision course with Boston if we win the division. How are we feeling about that potential matchup?
I think it's good. I think it's better than Tampa or Montreal in the first round, obviously. I think that the only slightly concerning part is they have a very good goalie in Jeremy Swayman. And in the playoffs, goaltending is what matters most. And if he gets hot, he's the type of goalie that I think could steal a series. So that's where I think your number one concern is.
Yeah,
But
goaltending.
in terms of the entire team, I think aside from David Pastrnak and Charlie McAvoy, they don't have a ton of relative high-level talent compared to the Sabres or the rest of the Eastern Conference, quite frankly. So, and they weren't expected to be great this year. This was supposed to be a rebuilding year for them. And I think they've exceeded expectations. Obviously, Swayman's been pretty good. Pastrnak has been Pastrnak. I have both David Pastrnak and Charlie McAvoy on my fantasy hockey team, and I'm projected to win the championship. They've been two of the best players in the NHL this season. So, yeah, those are I would say the three main concerns. And then it's not the teams with Patrice Bergeron and Brad Marchand, but it is a historic NHL franchise that has a lot of experience in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So it's not a team that hasn't been there before. It's a lot of new guys, of course, but I'm sure they've heard from guys of old about how to handle themselves in that type of environment. So I don't think it's the worst matchup, but it's not the best matchup either.
Yep. I'll handle a polar plunge too here from California. I mean, it's 70, but still, that's like a moderate plunge, not a polar plunge.
Yeah, it's hot here. It's been hot for about a month now, and I really fear what it's going to be like this summer.
Yep. A lot of chatter about playoff watch parties apparently here in the chat. Alex has invited us to his Albany one. I'm sorry, I love you, bud, but I'm not driving 4 hours to Albany when I have a couple watch parties right here in Buffalo.
I partied in Albany
to ours.
I partied in Albany once in college, and it was unbelievable.
Oh, Albany's a fun time. I will be in Albany for work sometime this either playoff or summer. So when I am in Albany, I'll make sure I give you a shout, and maybe we can go grab a slice. I've never tried Albany slices, so I have no idea. But I'm not sure if the wings out there are any good or, whatnot, food. But we do a lot of events for work out in that area. So, yeah, I could be seeing you possibly this summer. We are asking for our preferred pizza spot in Buffalo if you are to go get pizza in Buffalo for a playoff game.
My favorite pizza that I've ever had in Buffalo is Bocce Club. I think Bocce Club is the best pizza in Buffalo. I don't have it often, but when I do, and every single time I've had it, I personally think it's the best. I know a lot of people have a lot of different options. It's not necessarily like wings, where I think people have generally fallen on 3 or 4 different places that are now considered to be the best. But with pizza, there's so many good options around the city. So many different pizzerias, so many different mom and pop type places. But my personal favorite is Bocce Club.
I'm I've always been partial to Imperial. I love Lenova, real Lenova, not what you get at the arena. I like Franco's. I know those are kind of like, chain ones, but there's a lot of like, mom and pop places too, like Leo's. They have 3 locations. They're pretty good pizza. Honestly, there's pizza. It's a lot, in my opinion, it's a lot more difficult to pin down what the best pizza place is in Buffalo compared to wings. 'Cause I think most people's wing places are all the same. Like if you ask like 100 Buffalonians, like their favorite wing spots, you're probably getting the same core pieces on everybody's list. But pizza, I think it's a little bit more widely spread.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely different conversation than wings. I don't have it nearly as often. When I go home, I typically just have wings. I go to my 4 favorite spots, and that's it. But yeah, no, I think you can't really go wrong. But yeah, I would say Imperial, Bocce Club.
Macy's pizza is sneaky good too.
Yeah, I've never had that myself. The wings I've heard are great. I haven't had either.
They do like specialty pizza. They will literally bake pizza logs into your pizza.
That's incredible. I've seen a few things on Instagram about their wings too, which look amazing.
They have some interesting pizza names as well.
But I'd say anybody who hasn't been to Buffalo, coming to Buffalo for the first time for the playoffs, the food culture is so good, and it's not just pizza and wings. If anyone wants to check out over on the west side and something you wouldn't necessarily expect, one of the best restaurants, and I went there for the first time this past summer. It's called Southern Junction. It is a barbecue place on the west side. It's like Indian fusion barbecue, but I think it's gotten on the Michelin Guide. The chef has gotten a James Beard Award. It is some of the best barbecue I've ever had in my life. I think it's over on Connecticut Avenue on the deep west side in the city of Buffalo. It has gotten so much respect and so much adulation for good reason, and it lived up to the hype because it was some of the best barbecue I've ever had.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you there. You know what wing I love, and not enough places carry it, and I get hate from some people, specifically here and there, is PB&J wings.
I've never had that.
Big PB&J wing guy for sure. So, I'm there's a lot of spots you can go to. I'm gonna get to the post game. Quotes here from Into the Locker Room, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company. And then we'll obviously get to your final thoughts. Criminal take from Bro and Byram. And apparently somebody misses sponge candy. Southern Junction is elite barbecue. Outside pizza wings, I miss. Flying Tigers and Kentucky Greg's, RIP to those. I've never even heard of those, but yeah, sure is great. And no, my PB&J wing sauce is not a criminal take. But Inside the Locker Room, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, West New York's premier market and tap room. Lindy Ruff confirmed that Sam Carrick is week to week and won't be ready for the start of playoffs. Lindy on Doan reaching 25 goals. I think what we saw is why we got him signed. I think he's got an even more upside. His dad was one heck of a player, and he's following in his father's footsteps. Ruff says the players understood how they wanted to repay Ellis for his work tonight. They were blocking shots in the third and also getting him to see it clearly. Like, that's one thing too. Like, yeah, he faced a lot of rubber tonight, but I thought the team, to your point, the block shots and getting him to be able to see a bunch of those shots, yeah, there were high danger chances, but definitely no doubt I thought defensively they did show up for him tonight. Ruff says Ellis is the first guy to the rink a lot, and he's developing great habits. Ellis on the players asking him for a curtain call. It was pretty special. I thought they were joking. The fans have been so awesome. Ellis says they are pushing hard to get home ice and win the division. Ellis says playing in the NHL is great, says he has more to get better with, and he's been working hard to improve over the last 2 months since his last start. More from Colton Ellis. It was awesome. Start to finish, I think we played a great game too. The guys did a great job getting in front of pucks and letting me see them too. Says the crowd was great, and it is a lot of fun to play here. Krebs says Ellis is a worker. He battles. He wants to win. And he shows it out there. More from Payne. Krebs says it was a big game for both teams. Said they played really good defensively, and when Columbus opened up, they took advantage. They had to open up in the third period, given what was at stake for them. Don't on fan support here in Buffalo. It's been super cool this year. Says he just wants to put his head down and work hard for the fans. Says it's a place he's grown to love. So he's happy to have a long-term contract to be here from Buffalo for a long time. Doan says scoring 25 goals, says he's been given a great opportunity by the Sabres and thought this was a possibility if he could elevate his game. Says Benson made a great feed, and he's part of the reason why he has scored 25 goals. Those two really love playing together. Yeah. Doan on Ellis, he's become quite the goalie, says he works his nuts off, says he's fun to work with in practice, and everyone was pulling for him. And that was from Inside the Locker Room, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, West New York's premier market and tap room. I'm going to shout out the rest of our sponsors before we get to our final thoughts. But if you do want to get a last second question in, please don't be afraid to use the super chat option. That way we make sure we get to it. Because again, you guys are hammering the comment section here, and I'm sorry if I can't get to them all. So that is always an option. But shout out again to Fatty Beer Company, West New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different West New York locations. If you need a beer, get on over to Fatty Beer. Let them know we sent you over at 2 Goalies, 1 Mike. Keep your eyes and ears open for more information on the Fatty Beer Sabres playoff watch party for the first away game of the first round. Obviously, weather permitting, we're doing a giant watch party, shutting down all of Main Street in the village of Lancaster. I was actually in the car with Greg for a total of 13 hours between getting back to and from New York City. We talked a lot about this, so the wheels are rolling on that, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of fun stuff going on at the watch party. Street vendors, food trucks. It's going to be a blast. They now have upgraded from inflatable screens to a giant digital screen, so the visual of the game itself will be even better now. So please make sure you keep an eye out for more information. You can follow us at 2 Goalies 1 Mike, myself at Duane S39, my co-host Connor Hurley at Hurls13, or you can follow at Fatty Beer on both Instagram and Twitter for more information. Of course, Extreme Discount Mattress, again, with Western New York's finest selection of mattresses and adjustable beds. They have 7 different Western New York locations, and they do have a new closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga with up to 80% off their already low prices on one-of-a-kinds closeouts and floor samples. Get a quality mattress for literally pennies on the dollar. Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. And, of course, as always, we have our sponsor at Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York. Hey, Western New York, it's time to ditch the physical therapy clinics that treat you like you are just another number and step into a world where you are at the center of your care. Impulse is owned by Buffalo's only board-certified sports physical therapists. They work one-on-one with science-backed technology like 3D motion analysis and force plates. We help you exceed your goals and become the healthiest, strongest version of yourself. So come experience the Impulse difference today and mention this ad for a $77 assessment on your next visit. Again, mention the podcast, you get yourself a $77 assessment. And if you're an athlete who's looking at combine numbers, sports testing, it's a great place to go to. I'm personally going there right now to, kind of get back on track to hopefully be able to play hockey again someday after my traumatic leg break from last year, broken in 3 different places. So shout out to Impulse Physical Therapy, Western New York, located at 5087 Broadway, Suite 100, right next to Catalyst Fitness and also next to DNL Plaza in Depew, New York. Hurls, let's get on over to your final thoughts.
I think there have been a lot of moments this year that will live in our minds for a long time. Just a few that come to mind initially would be the New Year's Eve game against the Dallas Stars to win 10 in a row against one of the best teams in the league, that generational Tage Thompson performance. I think Rasmus Dahlin's performance in Toronto the day after the news was announced that he had lost his baby in the heart transplant situation with his fiance Carolina, and to come out on Daryl Sittler celebration night of his 10-point game and to get a hat trick, his first career hat trick, that sits in my mind. Obviously, the 8-7 game, I think, will go down as one of the best regular season games in NHL history and one of the best moments in Sabres history. But I think tonight, Colton Ellis getting his first career shutout to give the Sabres the ability to control their own destiny, along with a Tampa Bay loss in regulation, a 37-save shutout to shut out a desperate Columbus Blue Jackets team doing whatever they possibly can to get into the playoffs, with Jarmo Kekalainen, the former Blue Jackets GM, as the Sabres GM now. I think this is a top 5 moment in this unbelievable 2025-2026 Sabres season. I think we'll think about it as the Colton Ellis game from here on out, and it will be etched in Sabres lore for a really long time, no matter how long he's with the team and no matter what he does in this league. I think everybody will remember this night for that reason and how he accomplished it too. He was chaotic. He was controlled. He did whatever he could to make the save when he needed to. And as a goalie, as we both know as well as anybody, that's the job. And he did the job as well as he possibly could have tonight, because there was a goose egg on that scoreboard. So shout out Colton Ellis. Shout out to this team. 106 points. It feels crazy to say, but 2 more wins and the Atlantic Division is theirs.
100%, man. And I agree with all of that. A lot of great moments you brought up there, but Colton Ellis, 37 save shutout, first career shutout, and how he's embraced by teammates. Love that. I love that quote by Doan. I'm hoping you find the video of that, how he said how Colton Ellis works his nuts off. What a great statement there by Donor. If you've enjoyed this podcast and you are audio only, please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. You can find myself and my co-host Connor Hurley on Instagram and Twitter at DuaneS39, at CHurls13. You can find the podcast itself at Two Goalies, One Mike. If you are on YouTube, as I see a lot of you are here, please make sure you're smashing that like button. Do it like literally right now as we're talking. It's not that hard. Just use your finger, just press it like that. Just smash it. Don't bring your screen. Just smash the like button. And subscribe. Turn your notifications on. Hit the bell icon so you know when we go live. You guys have been absolutely fantastic.
Lost your audio.
Now we're good, right? We're good?
Yeah.
Sorry, my laptop was going to die, so I had to unplug my mic for a second. But you guys are a big reason why we do this. You make it so much fun. So please make sure you subscribe because we love talking to you after every game, as I've kind of said, in the past quite a few times. This season is in part for me and me. I can't speak for you, Hurls, but given the way it started, the way it has been in years past, having all of you to talk to, celebrate with, it does make this feel more special because I've said it so many times. I feel like we kind of developed a second family here in the chat, even like the comments from some of you guys, like even Mauricio and Alex and stuff like that. Like, I look forward to seeing that stuff because it's funny. And, it makes winning, it makes celebrating even that much more sweet. So I appreciate the hell out of all you guys. You're the reason we do this. Honestly, if there wasn't a chat here, if we couldn't interact with you, I don't know if we'd still be doing this. Honestly, I don't know. So appreciate the hell out of you guys and always being here, showing up, win or lose. You guys are the real ones, especially the OGs in the chat. You know who you are. So, and I want to shout out again to all the wonderful people that I met in New York City and in Manhattan. You guys were absolutely all incredible. Nick and Andrew, Nick Alfidi and his brother Andrew, Chris, both Chris's, Chris, who I met at Break Bar, where I mentioned you get to break your own glass at a bar, who actually bought some of our merchandise, after he checked out our website. He messaged me and told me he bought some of our shirts, which is incredible. A couple clicks to him. And then there was another Chris and his two brothers. We have fans in Australia now, which is awesome. Guys who are
Aussie.
Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. You absolutely love to see it. And there's more too. I don't know if I was able to get to everybody on the chat, but Sean, Kobe and Jim, shout out to you guys. Ethan and Ivan, you guys are absolutely awesome. Jake, we bought when we were at the Garden, it was $1 hot dog night, Hurls. This cool fan named Jake and his buddies. Shout out to you guys. And I'm sorry if I left anybody out. Joe, there was I think Tommy. Let me see. I got a couple more here too. Just give me 1 second. I want to make sure I give everybody the shout out I promised. We got again, I mentioned Ivan, Ethan, Ian, and then I think that was it for the most part. Oh, and Steven, Ian and Steven. You guys are the real ones. Chris Capolini, you too. 3 Chris's. I didn't just meet him, but he's always in the chat, giving us love. So shout out to all you guys. You're the reason we do this, and you're the reason, a big reason why this has been so fun.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody following along. This has been great for me too. I've been a Sabres fan I'm 33 years old, so 33 years now, and I have vague memories of the 99 Cup final run, and then obviously I was in 7th, 8th grade for the 05, 06, and 06, 07. So this is really cool to experience as a full-grown adult, and can't wait to be back in Buffalo with all of you celebrating the first playoff run in 15 years. It's going to be incredible.
The Fatty Beer watch party is going to be fucking electric. And I think I have a couple options for us on playoff tickets yet. I don't know if you've any headway with that, but I think we may have made some headway. If you guys followed along on Twitter with our the Sabres and Two Goalies One Mike take over the Big Apple vlog, over the last 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever. Me and Greg have considered and are in the process of deciding if we're going to become season ticket holders next year. And with that comes the option of playoff tickets, and game one is at our disposal. And I do have a couple other options for playoff tickets too. So I feel pretty confident saying, Hurls, we will be in the house for game one. So it's going to be
I appreciate that, of course, but I think that whatever the secondary market is that day, I'm going to be in the building either way.
I'm just saying, yeah. I feel confident in whatever option it might be that we are going to be in the building.
100%. And it's hard for me to imagine missing it, flying across the country to be back for it. So yeah, I'm looking into I'm turning over every single stone I possibly can. I think this is going to be one of the hottest tickets in the history of the city of Buffalo. So it's not necessarily the easiest thing in the world, but if anybody has any connection, if they know anybody, please hit us up.
Give us a shout.
I think we're as worthy as anybody to be in the building for that game.
We will buy you so many beers, the fatty beer.
I will allow you to drink from my beer saber. How about that? I know those are a tough thing to get these days. They're going for $300 on the secondary market.
Insane,
for some reason.
By the way. Insane.
Unbelievable.
Talk about that.
Yeah, unbelievable. But this fan base is crazy. Crazy in a good way. And I appreciate you guys very much.
Yeah. And Alex, if you want to use a super chat in the future, there should be an option. It's like a $sign or a chat logo in the chat, just to give you a heads up. So, and yes, Alex and Boring Byram, I do interact with the chat, but it's tough to keep up with sometimes, especially when you're trying to articulate your thoughts and have debate like me and Hurls do. So apparently Boring Byram has a guy for us, so reach out, please. But yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. And as always, go Sabres. Let's get cup crazy.